You want a little contrast to show some front branches. The little dark ones are nice. And you can make as many of these as you want. Maybe a twig or two. You can make little tractor trails like that. It's up to you. Where it would sink in, it would be darker, and where the ground would hump would be lighter, so that gives the illusion that there's a couple indents. It's kind of nice. Okay, I added a few more branches here to balance it out a little. Now we're going to do the leaves. So I'm just going to use a couple old bristly brushes. This is a messy palette, but I'm using dark, some sap green, some yellow, and some sienna. You could make any of those colors just by adding some greens and yellows and whites. I just have them for variation. So first I'm going to dab into the dark. I'm going to do the distant trees and a little bit of the, I want the two colors. I want more of the dark on the bottom. This is for the distant trees. And then I'm going to dab a lot of it off. And I'm just going to, these little ones, not these, I want those to stay the same, but just where I put a few little sticks. Because I want these to be kind of light in the distance. Just touch very carefully. You can even use a smaller brush until you get comfortable with it. Got a little bit too much of a gob on there. And I don't want to come over this tree because it's in the front. And a few here. You can turn your brush a few different ways. Well, I've got a little bit on my brush. I'm just going to make a few little dabs here and there where I've got a few little white spots I see. And it gives a little bit of a variety of things going on there for our daisies to go over. So now I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm going to load it a little heavier now so that there's some gobs. some light, and then I'm going to add some highlight. So I'm going to touch the tops of my trees. Leave a little light showing through. Leaves are kind of in clusters. Again, you can turn it. Get a little bit of a tip of leaves going on there. So I'm dipping into the dark on one side, the light on the other side, and I'm just dabbing. And the two variations look nice together, and then we'll highlight those after. Dab a little bit down at the bottom of the tree. Bring it along your path. You can go over the edge of your path. You have the two colors in there, and you can even dip into a little yellow. So I've got the three colors on my brush, yellow, the dark green, the light green, and the yellow. I'm just going to make little plants along my path, or my road. You can go around your bottom of your post if you want to. If you didn't see what I was doing before with the other brush, I'll demonstrate that again sometime in case I missed it. I'm just gonna, there. And then a little under this tree too as well. Without getting on my fence. Closer, make it a little bit more gauby. You can cover a bit of the road with these because it's going to grow up there a little bit. And I'm just going to make a little bit of an edge along my road. Now I'm just touching the sienna, leaving the green on. Put a few little light spots. Now with that sienna and yellow on with my green, I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to touch some of the ends very lightly. Add a little something. Because of the red over here, I'm going to add a little tiny bit of crimson in with the dark green. So I've got a little crimson, little green. I'm going to start to see how my brush is working down the tree. And it's good to have a different kind of mark for the different trees. The ends of my branches. Turn it this way for some ends. Solid in some spots and a little bit more see-through in others. We're going to come in with some light ones too. So this one I'm going to hang some down off here. And just touch here and there. I want to cover it all up just a little bit. Make the same mark over them again. Okay, so I think now that I've got this tree here, I want to take this evergreen that I missed taping before and extend it maybe up in the picture, just a little ways to balance it a little. So I got my nice little round brush, a bit of a black and brown, and green, dark on the other, one side and lighter. Ran through lighter on the other. Keep it nice and flat. Highlight faces that way. I'm going to make the top first, just by dabbing. And I'm going to make another little spot there. Then I'm going to turn my brush this way, and I've got it on an angle. I don't have it straight up and down like when we make some things. I have it on a bit of an angle. I'm just going to dab it lightly for the top ones. I'm going to make branches. Just by dabbing. Some come right out front. Some go behind. Some are bent funny. I'm going to load my brush up again. I got lots of paint, but I got a nice sharp point. I'm going to highlight some of these I missed. You just build your tree as you go down. Okay, so I'm going to add some daisies. I've got some various size flat brushes here. I'm also going to use a little pointy acrylic brush for the tiny ones in the distance. So I think I'll start off with the closer ones. So I'm going to use this flat brush. I think it's a 1/4 inch. I'm going to load it with lots of white. Keeping it flat like we usually do. And one corner into some, I have some ultramarine blue. Doesn't matter what color, it's just that I used phthalo for my sky, so I thought I'd change up the color. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure I have a nice loaded brush. More white than blue. Okay, and I'm gonna pick a spot for my close-up daisies. They're gonna be big because they're gonna be close, and then we'll have some in the farther. So this is the closest area I want to have here. So we'll start off with, and this is going to be high up. It's going to make sense later, but we're going to start with a big one. I've got my blue going the wrong way, so for daisies, we just Pick a spot for the center. They're going to be facing all different ways. Load up my brush every once in a while here. And it's going to have different amounts of highlight each time, but that's okay. Variations are nice. So push and just slide in. And you can put as many petals on your daisies as you want. We'll do some different positions. Petals can overlap each other. Bud. Oh, no highlight there. And another one here. I think this one will have facing that way. Facing up. Okay, so now I want to make it look as if daisies are all over the place. This is the closest view. We'll be getting smaller as we go back. Over here. I'm almost just touching. You keep a brush, a little round. I've got a little round pointy brush. Keep a sharp point on it. You can just roll it in your paint. Sometimes you have to add a little wet water when you're using a tiny little brush for distance. So I'm just going to add a whole bunch of little clusters of these back here. You can take a lot of time doing this, but it's nice one little effect. So here's a liner brush. I've got it wet. You have to add water when you're using a liner brush to make it flow better. And I'm going to run it through some dark green and some yellow. And then I can just, this one's facing out this way, so I'm just going to put a little V where it connects. And then this one, maybe these come together. So with another small flat brush, I'm going to load it up with the three greens, the light, the dark, throw some yellow on there. Flat, but a little bit heavier loaded. I'm going to make a few leaves. So to make the leaves, I'm just going to get close to the vine and I'm going to push and go towards it a little. And I want some yellow for contrast. And I want little short leaves that twist into the vine like that. And the stroke I'm doing is just a touch and a little with a few variations of color. Make a nice contrast from whatever the back is. So it's a very light little push and twist. And you can go over the vine. So with a small little bristly filbert, I'm going to add some yellow ochre with a little tiny bit of crimson in it, and some yellow, mostly yellow ochre. And I'm going to touch my center and twirl that. Depends on where it is, what shape you want. So if you want round, just touch it lightly and you can twirl your brush. And then you can fix it, shape you want. You can use any different brushes for these as well. I like to use that little twirl or the little half circle depending on the way it's facing. Okay, so I'm going to put a few birds sitting on here. A little close up on the birds. And just got a few little birds hanging out over there. Okay, so here we have our finished painting. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you give it a try. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like.